Getting plenty of fibre is recommended for digestive health, but a high fibre diet is also good for your brain. Dietitian Robin Lee Mentor is in the loft to chat about this and a whole lot more. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Lovely to have you here. Now, speak to us about fibre. I was saying to you earlier on, what is fibre? And you mentioned beans.
Yeah.
And I was saying, well, when I was predominantly vegetarian, I considered legumes and beans to be protein.
Yeah.
And you were speaking about how that switches up. So let's start there.
The first thing is I would consider fibre, think of it as a personal trainer in our body. She keeps everything running smoothly.
Ooh, I like that.
So to know what fibre or how fibre functions, we need to know what are the types of fibres. So there's two types of fibres. Soluble fibre and insoluble fibre.
Okay.
Insoluble fibre, simply put, is the fibre that bulks up our stool. So every second person that we're bumping into is talking about, babe, gut health, babe, constipation. I don't know what's happening with my digestive system. So we look at the fibre that is formulating the stool. Are you getting enough of that fibre for your digestive system? That is insoluble fibre.
Okay.
Soluble fibre, she is responsible for the good bacteria in our gut. So she's keeping out the bad bacteria, and then she's helping to break down food and produce nutrients. So that is the two types of fibre.
Soluble and insoluble, and we need both.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The two work hand in hand. And for example, soluble fibre is responsible for our energy. It impacts how we feel. It impacts our mood. It impacts whether we're feeling good throughout the day, if we're having the brain fog, if we're feeling refreshed. Yes. Absolutely.
So speaking about brain fog, I know that fibre is important when it comes to brain health as well. Can you unpack that for us?
So with fibre, what happens is we've got something called a gut-brain axis.
Yes.
So this is our gut, this is our brain, and then there's an axis that's happening in our body. And fibre...
Does that mean they're communicating?
They are talking.
Okay.
So the one is saying, hey, how are you feeling? Are we producing enough nutrients? Are we functioning? Are we working? They're like two besties, right?
Okay.
And fibre is the girl that's the cell phone. So while these two besties are texting, she's keeping everything alive. She's that channel that's communicating between the two of them. So with our fibre and our brain health, it's been shown that if our brain has to choose between carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, it's going to choose carbs as its primary source of energy.
Okay.
And there's a big misconception with carbs because sometimes people fear carbs.
Yes, it's a bad name.
Absolutely. So a lot of the studies have now shown that our brain uses 30% of our energy throughout the day. So we really have to be considering, am I eating the correct foods for my brain?
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, that's where our carbs comes in. Yeah. So if we're looking at the carbs, what type of carbs are we opting for? And this is where we'd opt for whole wheat, high fibre carbs. They keep us fuller for longer. They're fueling us. So let's say you're having a high fibre breakfast, like all bran flakes, and we're going for a fibre 5 option. It's going to break down slower, keep us fuller for longer, and keep our brain sharp.
Fibre 5 option, break that down for me. What does that mean exactly?
Okay, so with our Kellogg's all-bran Fibre 5, we're looking at leveling up our fibre, and we're doing a campaign where we're looking at different ways in which we can incorporate all-bran. So you can either top it, you can crumb it, you can bake it, you can blend it, and there's different ways in which we can start including fibre into our everyday life.
Is there a potential risk with having too much fibre?
Absolutely. So like I mentioned, fibre is the personal trainer in our body, right? So when you're with your personal trainer and it's your first day, she doesn't go, let's run a marathon or let's start weightlifting. No, we're starting off small. So if you're somebody who's not getting enough fibre, you start off small. How can we start off? Let's look at breakfast. Okay, perhaps a high fibre breakfast. You could go for all bran. If you're not a fan, you could perhaps go for oats if you like. Yeah. If you don't like oats in the morning, you could start to incorporate more fruits. So you start off slowly, perhaps with your snack time. Start to incorporate a bit of nuts as a snack, and that's a perfect source of fibre.
Robin, thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight having you here, and I've loved all the analogies that you've used. Certainly makes it easier to remember to take our fibre, both soluble and insoluble. What an insightful conversation. A healthy digestive system and brain is vital to our health, so it's important to level up with Fibre 5. After the break, Chef Jay is going to make some brain-boosting blueberry muffins.